What's up, y'all? Welcome to Political Fight Club. This is an episode I didn't mention I was going to do earlier because I wanted it to be a surprise. So, if you guys have seen anything over the last 24 to 48 hours, Cori Bush, the congresswoman who I used to have immense respect for, is now sleeping on the steps of Congress in her protest of the eviction moratorium. Now, I'm not going to give her any credit. I want to paint a picture for you guys so you understand exactly what Cori Bush and the squad did here. It's one massive virtue signal and photo op. Their actions do not reflect people who actually want to extend the eviction moratorium. The timing of this stinks to high heaven, and the fact that they didn't plan it at all in advance and weren't doing it weeks in advance and just did it, right as it was already happening. That's very suspect to me. That does not, to me, reflect the actions of somebody who actually cares. So I'm going to explain to you guys via the revolving hero theory that I always talk about on this show why Cori Bush was the one chosen to do this photo op. And I will give tacit credit because there are some people actually gathering there. But I mean, when you're the squad and you have tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of people via Twitter that you can get out there just by tweeting if all of you tweeted at once, and you get a couple hundred people, it means you're trying to look like you're holding an event or a protest without actually trying to rally a protest. So let's talk about what happened with Max Blumenthal and Cori Bush. And mad credit to Max Blumenthal, and in fact Nick Brana as well, because his fight the night before, he pressed some people at the protest the first night it was there on Medicare for All, and there was a fight that kind of broke out, not an actual fight, but an argument. And then Max Blumenthal used that argument about Medicare for All as the pretense for asking Cori Bush why the squad squandered their opportunity when they had it with Nancy Pelosi enforcing the vote. And Cori Bush's answer was very revealing. She said it was actually illegal for them to force the vote, which is completely not true, completely skirting the question. And she basically gave a very horrible neoliberal word salad that made absolutely no sense. You could tell she'd been spoon-fed these buzzwords and she doesn't know how to respond. She's not quite smart enough to do so. So it was just an awful and embarrassing answer that she gave and didn't answer Max Blumenthal's question. And then when we tried to follow up, a literal fucking caveman that was like 7 feet tall stood in between Blumenthal and Cori Bush, like one of her goons or whatever. Apparently the AOCs of the world need these Neanderthals to protect them nowadays. And he goes, no, the squad not here for questions. Squad here for fake protest. You go now. And then Blumenthal, not wanting to get fucking killed on the spot by this caveman, decided to actually go away. So that tells you a lot about Cori Bush and the squad. Now let's talk about why this protest isn't really a protest. Like I said, the squad could, if they wanted to, get tens of thousands, if not 100,000 people on the steps of Congress with a couple of tweets if they actually gave a damn. Now, they didn't do that, so the timing is very suspect in that they just did it at the last second and didn't give it any press beforehand. That does not reflect people that are actually, like, smart people trying to get things done. That says, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do this so that we can look like we're actually fighting, but since we're not going to give it any press, the neoliberals who own us in Congress won't be mad at us because we'll just go, don't worry, we're going to go out there and we're going to make it look like we're fighting. And then you guys can be happy because nothing will actually change. And then we can look like we're actually doing something. That's what virtue signaling is. And that's what this is. It's one big photo op virtue signal. And if they actually cared, they would have done things far differently and there'd be far more people showing up for it. And they would have been yelling at the rooftops months ago at the Biden administration to do it. But they waited till the last second. No one showed up because they didn't give it any, press. And then I've been told that they're not even rallying. They're not giving speeches. They're just there, and a lot of them showed up for a couple of minutes and then fucking left. So here's what happened, you guys. I'm going to talk about rotating hero theory again. Here's what happened more or less behind closed doors. Chuck Schumer pulls all of the squad into probably Nancy Pelosi as well, pull the squad into a room and they go, all right, listen, younglings, we need you guys to raise your hand if you've ever been homeless before. And as far as I know, the only one that's actually been homeless is Cori Bush. So they excuse everybody out of the room, and they've only got Cori Bush in there, and they go, listen, we need you to go out there and do a fake protest for the moratorium. Here's the plan. Since you have a leg to stand on, since you've been homeless before, we need you to go out there and take one for the team, sleep out on the steps for a day or two, make it look like the squad is actually negotiating behind closed doors, and here's what we're going to do. Biden's plan this entire time has been to let poor people always feel the fear that they're going to be evicted by extending the eviction moratorium ever so gradually and in small increments. That way it keeps everybody so focused on not getting evicted that they can't focus on what a shitty job he's doing. So the plan was always that we were going to do this minuscule targeted moratorium, which we will reveal to the public in 3 or 4 days once you've done this. You will go out and sleep on the steps for 3 days, and then when we come out and talk to you after you've been out there for a little bit, we can all furrow our brows. AOC will even be out there for a photo op. We can pretend like we're actually having a negotiation. We'll go back in and do what we really want, and you can tell the press that you actually moved mountains by getting the targeted eviction moratorium and that you're super proud of that. Sound good, Cori? And because she's acclimated, she goes, yes, sir, I'll do whatever you want. And then she goes out and does it. Everybody wins. And we get a shitty-ass targeted moratorium that is only going to be in the most densely populated parts of, like, cities, which are, like, inner city and urban places, which, of course, it's better than nothing, but you can have the CDC, as Joe Biden, by the way, as the executive. You can make the CDC extended to everybody, and with the new Delta variant coming along, why he would not do that is beyond me, other than the fact that he's obviously senile and doesn't know where the fuck he is. Hundreds of thousands are probably going to die if he doesn't do this moratorium eventually, and he really needs to do even more than that. He needs to do probably a mask mandate. But that's neither here nor there. What you've got is the squad. They picked the one of the squad that has a leg to stand on because she was homeless before, and they had her perform the theatrical stunt. That's what happened, more than likely. And then they go out there, and you've even seen the pictures where Chuck Schumer's like kind of given AOC and Cori Bush are talking to. Look at that fucking picture. Both Cori Bush and AOC are like, we're putting on our negotiating faces for the cameras here so that it can look like we're actually getting things done. It'll make it look like this little protest, this fake protest we're putting on is actually getting things done. Now, the neoliberals have been planning this for weeks. The squad, they don't have any spine. They don't want to go out there and actually fight and do a protest. So what they did is they met behind closed doors. They decided on the most minuscule thing they could fucking do. And they go, here you go, squad. Here's a crumb. Go out there and make it look like you just moved a mountain. That's what happened. So shame on Cori Bush. I guess, you know, congrats that you were able to get that many people to show up without actually trying. Imagine if you actually tried, Cori. Imagine had you been doing this for weeks and there were 100,000 people out there. But no, the squad doesn't want to actually try. They want a virtue signal on Twitter and via these fake protests. And that's why I worry so much about Nina Turner, who is, by the way, her election is today against Shontel Brown. If she wins, which I hope she does, I think she's going to go in here and do exactly the same fucking thing that Cori Bush is doing. Prove me wrong, Nina. Nothing would make me happier than for you to actually go in there and stop being like Cori Bush. Stop being like AOC. Actually fight for some things. Actually rally the people. Actually do some campaigning. Do some on-the-ground stuff instead of just sitting in your office making $175,000 a year tweeting, which is exactly what the squad is doing. So this was all manufacturing consent, guys. This is manufacturing consent for a shitty, targeted eviction moratorium that isn't going to do dick. That's what it is. And the squad should be ashamed of themselves. And if you guys can't see through this at this point, if you have 1 million Twitter followers and you have a protest that's got a couple hundred people, there's something wrong with your effort. Keep fighting the good fight out there, guys. I'll talk to you later.